This is the Yo Tank M3Y Tier 8 heavy tank. This is the new line everyone's waiting for. Now this tank has already been out for about 12 hours or so. There's been some feedback from the community talking about how good this tank is. Personally, I don't think it is that great. This tank comes with 2 guns. Why is this guy blocking me? I shot at him to you know to display my disdain for him blocking me, and here he comes blocking me again, following me around. But anyway, this tank comes with 2 guns. The first gun is a 240 Alpha gun. The top gun is a 320 Alpha gun. The difference is 2.4 seconds, the difference between the reload time. I prefer the 320 Alpha gun. This is just my style of gameplay. I always go for the bigger Alpha gun versus a small Alpha but fast firing high DPM gun. I just think a high Alpha gun is more natural for me, so that's the way I'm leaning. A lot of people do prefer the smaller 240 Alpha gun that reloads 6.5 seconds. Some people prefer that, but for me, I think because it's a heavy, it's gonna be slow. I would rather, I don't mind waiting another 2.4 seconds for extra 80 damage. So I think for me that works a lot better. When you are playing, heavy tanks, this kind of caliber of heavy tanks that are slow, have low power to weight ratio, you cannot use your mobility or speed to get anywhere. There's no such thing as flanking. There's no such thing as changing positions. Once you've committed to one position, you are basically going to push forward from that position, or you're just going to die there, because this is 2022. The average game times are 5-6 minutes. You're not going to get a lot of time to play a game. So if you are in a tank that is slow, sluggish, low power to weight ratio, low top speed, low agility, you just really don't, there's no mobility there. There's no space for you to flex around the map. There's no time for repositioning, or there's no time for you to look for a better flank. You got to commit to one if you are in a heavy tank. So when you are in a heavy tank with little mobility or little choice about going anywhere on the map, I would rather prefer a high alpha gun. At least every time I land a shot and I penetrate, at least I am guaranteed a 320 alpha damage instead of 240 alpha damage. As it is, we are already 9 tanks up and it's only 3.5 minutes gone in. So I have no choice. I'm only done 2000 damage. I have to drive forward. I have to give up a little bit of my hit points. If they shoot me and if they penetrate me, so be it. At least I'm going to go forward and I'm going to get a little bit of spotting, or maybe a little bit of blocks, get my experience up there, because I was taking the hits and I was doing a little bit of spotting. Even though I only did 2000 damage, at least I blocked 3600 and I got about 1700 blocking damage. The game is already over. It's not even 5 minutes yet. So imagine that I get the final shot on the last guy on the map, and boom, exactly 4.5 minutes and we are done. So for 4.5 minutes, if I was firing 240 alpha gun, reloading 6.5 seconds, it wouldn't have worked out very well for me. I wouldn't have done 2,300 damage. I would have done a lot less damage for the amount of time. So if that makes sense to you, why I pick the final gun that does 320 alpha. So anyway, this is the second game. We are in Overlord, and I'm going to rush down into the middle and take the Unicum position, I would say. This is the most popular position on the map. All the top players will take this position, will try to get to this position. Obviously, it depends on what kind of matchmaker you are in. We are in a tier 8 matchmaker, so it's we're in a tier 9 game. There are 5 tier 9 tanks, so it's not going to be a big deal, not too much pressure. I can be out in the front. I don't have to hide at the back. If this was a tier 10 game, maybe I need to be a little bit more conservative, but because this is a 5-10 matchmaker, I can be a little bit more aggressive. There are only 5 tier 9 tanks out there, and I could be a little bit more aggressive. Take a hit there from the 263. He was really sneaky, hiding at the side of the house there, but now I am in a crossfire. If I poke up too high, that 122 TM122 could potentially snipe at my huge turret, side of my turret, so I don't want to give him that opportunity. So what I'm going to do is, as soon as I notice that he is looking somewhere else, I'm going to try and shoot at him. He manages to track me, but remember, this is the Yo tank. I have a reserve track. Even though I'm a little bit slower, I can still reverse and get away. And because that is a 122 TM, I know that it takes a little bit of time for him to reload. Very slow reloading tank, so I can actually, since I've already taken a hit, I might as well try to fire off my second shot at him, and he is down to a one-shotter. I've already done 1,300 damage in about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. We're just gonna stay in this position and try to look for other targets that we can spot. Again, this tank, 208 penetration on the standard AP shells. I am in try-hard mode, firing APCR shells, 320 damage, 245 millimeters of penetration, 8.53 reload. I think I can get it down to about 7 seconds of reload time with food, BIA, a rammer. I'm running a hardening on this tank, so my hit points are also slightly higher. The dispersion on this gun, 0.37, I think, with the kind of equipment that I have on it, BIA, cruise skills, and whatnot. I think the dispersion is down to about 3.4 or 3.5 dispersion, if I recall correctly. The gun handling is not too bad. Even though you are in the top gun, supposedly the dispersion is worse than the 240 alpha gun, but it is very playable. I don't need to run vents in order to maximize my accuracy on this gun. I can run the hardening on the first slot to make my tank a little bit more durable, increase my hit points another 10%, and the only gun performance equipment that I have is the rammer and vertical stabilizers. It's the same equipment that I'm running on the tier 10 Yo tank as well. It works well for this tank, the tier 8 version of the Yo tank. Now, I did play about 10 games of this tank in stock configuration. My first idea to make this video was to actually play it in stock configuration, but after 10 games I only won 2 games out of 10, 20% win rate, and I think my average damage was 1,000 average damage with the stock gun, stock turret, stock tracks, stock radio, stock engine. It was a horrible experience. If you have to grind up the Yo tank line, if you're interested in getting these tanks, man, make sure you have some free XP in hand, because this tank is really terrible to play in stock configuration. You need to have the gun, you need to have the engine, you need to have the turret. In my experience, the stock gun, even firing full premium shells, I could not for the life of me pen anything. It was a horrible experience. And to be honest with you, even with the top configuration right now and firing full premium shells 100% of the time, which is APCR, I am still not like having a lot of fantastic games. I mean, I'm having decent games. This tank isn't a bad tank at all. In fact, it is not a bad tank, but I'm not going to say this is a great tank or this is a must-have tank. This is as good as any good tank out there. Is it better than a Renegade? No way. Renegade will eat this tank alive. T56, which is the meta tank right now, it'll eat this tank alive a lot better than this tank. Even the tier 8 premium Yo tank is better than this tank 9 times out of 10 times. So yeah, that's my reaction video for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you are grinding up on this tank, good luck to you. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.